Hello, everybody. Welcome to the next stage. As you know, war may be on the brink. We don't know, uh, but things have happened. Things have been pushed. Uh, I don't know all the details or anything like that. Hey, David, brother, how you doing? Um, all I know is war is happening or about to happen. Um, so, preparedness. Hey, big bro Dave, how you doing? I'm glad. I'm glad, David. But so onwards to the next stage of preparation, making sure everything's okay on your end. Um, since we don't know what's going on in this world right now, I mean, with the epidemic, with what's going on in the Ukraine, all this stuff, it may it may affect more things. Um, like I showed you in my video yesterday, yeah, it looked like that Dollar Tree was stocked. Well, what they were doing with, with Dollar Tree is they buy mass amounts. Discount stores, stuff like that, they buy mass quantities of stuff that never sells from other places. Um, and that is one of the richer side of the neighborhoods, Dollar Trees. So they always have to keep up an appearance, unlike other Dollar Trees around the states and stuff. Um, like when I went there, they were stocking. They were pulling everything out of their back stock. So that's why I went there. They had like five people stalking that place because a lot of people were complaining that that Dollar Tree was bad. They got a bad review and everything a couple months ago, so they're trying to upgrade their image. So that's why it looked like it was full. Um, but like I was saying in that video, Dollar Trees are a great place right now that people are not shopping at. Most people shop at name brand grocery stores, they shop at name brand places because Dollar Trees, discount stores like that have always got a bad rep about getting out of date items, having not rotating their stock out, stuff like that. So a lot of people kind of go there for mix, match, whatever if they need it, like need it right then. But for food or anything like that, they overlook it because they don't want to take a chance on that food. Um, so do a lot of prepping, a lot of stocking. If say your community or your local grocery stores or stuff like that are out or running low on certain items, check your dollar stores, check your you know bargain huts, whatever that you have. Um, but this is going to be more. preparing other things instead of food. We've been going over food and water and stuff like that, the three basic necessities. Um, but now it's going to be other things, self-sustaining, prepping. Yeah, yeah, and that's the same thing here. Like the Dollar Trees and stuff around, San Antonio College and everything like that, they run out of stuff really fast because of the same thing. College students, low on money, places like that. Oh, how you doing, Billy James? Billy James, you're so adorable. Let's put him in timeout. Okay. Anyways, so now we're going to go to self-sustaining. Self-sustaining methods will last you forever. It's something that will always continuously produce for you as long as you keep it producing. Um, that goes for livestock, that goes for vegetables, that goes your gardens, stuff like that. Water catchment systems, um, things that you can reuse, recycle. Um, there's plenty of things that you can buy from discount websites for dirt cheap. And instead of going to a location that may or may not have this stuff, also check things like Craigslist, also check things like Facebook Marketplace. There's all the time places and people that's giving away stuff for free. Just like today, I was on Craigslist, and there's an individual on Craigslist that's giving away free beans and rice to people. Um, they stockpiled. They're a they're part of the prepper pantry, and they're able to take, I mean, not pantry, but they're a part of the food pantry. So they volunteer there and they get paid in food. Um, just like local. Hey, Nicole, how you doing, sis? Thank you for stopping by. But a lot of food pantries are now combining with local hunters during hunting seasons, and hunters are now giving away full bodies of game kills to food pantries. Um, so you can go there. They have an in-store butcher, all this stuff. All right. So, yeah, this is what happens when you work 24/7, like me. But anyways, um, what I was talking about, self-sustaining methods. Um, if you have the land, if you have the time and the will to do this stuff, um, a garden, you know, some chickens. There's a lot. There's a lot of people that really going so for hey everybody, sorry, I'll be right back. I got to deal with something. All right. Sorry about that. Signal is getting crap. Um. Anyways, Texas can't handle this cold. They don't know how to deal with the cold. So everything is breaking down slowly. Internet, light, water, stuff like that. This is one of the worst seasons that's hit Texas. So nobody knows how to handle it. Not even our government can handle it. But everything you need, you need to now learn how to all of your go bag, your inch bag ideas, your bug out bag, stuff like that. That's not you need to learn how to and stay efficient because one or two steps, it's going to hit. In doing so like that, to handle without being able to go to the grocery store, without being able to get your stuff day to day, you need to learn how to keep your stuff alive and thriving, just like you. So in doing this, right, CR, you need to be realistic on top of being optimistic. Everybody needs the mindset that they can do it. Even when all odds are against you, you have to push forward. Every single one of us are human. Every single one of us has fears. Every single one of us bleed, cry, feel. So take that as a motivation. Take that. Take take the isolation from what was happening at the beginning of the pandemic and put that to a mindset of what to do now. Everybody needs food. Everybody needs water. Everybody definitely needs shelter. And it's not just it's not just a house. It's not just a roof over your head to protect you from the elements. It's also taking care of yourself and your loved ones. Do you know how to make a fire? Do you know how to sustain a fire? Do you know how to keep your house warm when there is no electricity? And I know not everybody has a cabin in the woods that has a wood burning fireplace or a wood stove or anything like that. The majority of us live in cities, and the majority of us live in apartments. That because it's a smaller area to keep warm and to keep protected. Of us that live in cities don't have a natural water source or anything nearby. They have to rely on the city to get those to get that source. The thing is, find your natural water sources around you that's close enough to walk to or because water, everything is and you can't only thing for water is plants. We can't. So yeah, you can it's got to be it's got to be good drinking water. So that's where rain cats come in. Even if you live in an apartment, you get a rain catchment system. There's a guy in Prague that I saw, and he captures rainwater. He's, he has a PVC pipe that's on with 6 2-liter bottles that captures rainwater for him. Okay, Dave, thank you. Let me try to. Okay. Maybe it works. Give me a thumbs up if it works. Okay, sorry about that. Hold on. The radio's going off. Hold on. Okay. I hope this is a better connection. Is is everything all right? Can y'all hear me now? If y'all can hear me, just give me a thumbs up. Um, but yeah, everything's breaking down. Everything's breaking down in Texas right now. Signal, water, it, it's it's getting it's getting there because this freak weather has is a is hindering everything. Yeah, I know it's my work radio. Sorry, um, but self sustainability, it needs to be done to truly survive whatever. Hey Jamie, how you doing, brother? Even a small garden with two or three plants can help you. It won't be a lifesaver, no, but it will help you in the long run. I mean, it will give you added nutrients and stuff like that when you don't have anything. Um, while you're still surviving on your preps and stuff like that, you can, instead of having one can of food or whatever, you can have two tomatoes or three potatoes, something like that. Um, they have indoor potato pods. You know, you can grow what you need in any kind of environment, any size area that you can deem a growing area. I mean, people do it with recreational plants all the time in small confined spaces. Use a closet that you don't have anything in or stuff that you don't need. Use that as a growing closet. Um, when it comes to livestock and apartments, that's a different story. That's when you actually need somebody in family or a close friend or something like that that has property. Because I know how hard it is for a lot of people in the UK to actually get property to sustain livestock. It's not as easy as it is in the United States to go and buy an acre of land, you know? Like how easy it is to buy an acre of land in America compared to the UK. Um, but the thing is you can hunt if you're in an apartment or whatever. You can go and make, like I said, food pantries, stuff like that. They're great alternatives to if you don't have enough money to spend out of pocket for preparations. You can go to any food pantry. And like I was saying earlier, a lot of food pantries are now partnering with wild game hunters or, forestry departments, stuff like that, that are killing an overstock of, you know, deer or sheep or something like that. So it's not a menace to society. And they're redistributing that wild game meat to food pantries. Right, Dave, right. And prepping now doing what is needed for yourself and for your family is what you need to look at. Things aren't getting better. It's not. We are on the downslide. Well, yeah, but it's that's why I tell people that go to these survival schools and stuff like that that they don't teach real survival to people. They don't teach people how to ration. They don't teach people how to starve for a day or two. I mean, yeah, there's some people that can't go without food for a day or two. Like me, I have type 1 diabetes. I cannot go for a certain amount of time without food, or my blood sugar will drop and I can die. So, yes, my main priorities in survival or prepping or whatever is food. It's always going to be food and water because if you don't stock water to help you digest the food that you're eating, you can't eat. You can't process the food without water. Um, People say, "Oh, I'm going to buy Cokes. I'm going to buy power drinks. I'm going to buy this or that." Well, that's not a water source. That is not a pure water source. It is a luxury item to help you feel more civilized. Yeah, but the thing is, you need water. Water is the life of everything. We have based our life around water. So you need all that. It's good to have luxury items in your preps. Yes. It makes you happier. It makes you more human feeling. It's just like being out in the middle of wherever. Say you're in the middle of the desert and it's already hot, but a good hot meal on top of being in the heat makes you feel more alive. A cooked meal, not something raw, cold, mush. That makes you that makes you more susceptible to depression. That makes you more susceptible to anger, making harsh decisions because you didn't have a good hot meal like what we're used to. Right. Yeah. It's the best thing to do. The best thing to do in a lot of situations is to grow your own food. It's a plus to have access to free meat. But the thing is, a lot of people don't understand is those animals that you're raising also need nutrients. They need antibiotics. They need medicine. They need water also. If you don't have enough water to quench your own thirst, how are you going to get enough water to keep your animals alive? But with vegetables, with wild edibles or growing edibles, you can use gray water or dirty water and sustain them. The stuff that you cannot drink and cannot live on, they can because they can filter it. They have a natural filtration system. But when it comes to animals, they're the same thing as humans. They can withstand some dirty water, some, but they cannot drink reused water, gray water, stuff like that, without being sick. And if your food is sick, you get sick. Um, so always the alternative is to grow your stuff. A lot of people won't say that. A lot of people don't tell you about that stuff because they are not. A lot of survivalists and a lot of channels and stuff like that, they are sitting in multi-million-dollar homes. They don't have to worry about real life survival scenarios because they've already made their living on doing this stuff. I mean, even big name people on their TV shows have screwed up on eating wild edibles and getting sick on it. So that shows you that they are just as much human as we are. We are humans. We fuck up. I'm sorry to say it. We fuck up. And we cannot remember every little bit of information that we have learned. And everything in survival is knowledge base. And you cannot remember every minute detail on everything. A lot of survival channels say, "Oh, you can leave me out in the middle of the woods with a knife and I'll be fine." Yeah, in a perfect world, you will be fine, but you will not be able to survive if you have a broken leg or if you have a broken arm or if you're starving and you haven't found food and you don't know how to process that food. You are not going to survive in that situation. Right, CR. You're good, brother. You're good. But that's the thing. We all we all glamorize ourselves. Hey, Heidi, how you doing? But we all glamorize ourselves as the invincible lone wolf, that we can do anything and everything that we have been taught and learn, and we can survive in God's green earth for decades by ourselves. But you know what? Every single one of us, we go to bed in a house that has a open tap that we can get clean, fresh drinking water out of. We have a full fridge that we go into and we get all the food that we want. And if we run out, we go down to the local grocery store and get it. We are not 100% every day surviving. We are not every day foraging for food. We are not every day in the woods hunting. Hey, country boy, how you doing? Because anybody and everybody that says that they can be thrown out into the middle of the woods with just a knife and survive, I'm sorry, but you can't. I can't do it. Nobody can do it. Not even these glamorized superstar survivalists can do it because we are humans. We have been pampered too much in our life. And the thing is, like I said, we go home to a warm house, a hot bath, fresh drinking water, food in our fridge at the ready after that hard 5 hours, 6 hours of being in the woods and we think we're God's given creature. No, we're not. Y'all may hate me for saying this, but it's the truth. It's it's the truth. Yeah, yeah, Ryan. How you doing, brother? Yeah, I'm human, brother. I mean, so the thing is, don't think you're bugging out because if you think you have to bug out, you are already halfway dead. That's the cold hard truth. Do not think bugging out is your first resort. Your first resort will always to be bugged in, pack in. That's it. Only leave when you have to leave. When there is nothing else for you at your homestead. That means no resources. That means no wild edibles anymore. That means no preps anymore. And when that time comes, make sure you know already at least a week ahead of time to pack your go vehicle with everything that you have remaining so you are comfortable knowing where you're going because it's easier to siphon gas and put in that go car than it is hunting for wild edibles and scourging, like scavenging in the wilderness, in the elements, in the cold. Right, Ryan. Yes, prepare. I mean, always prepare like it's a zombie apocalypse. Yes. But the thing is make sure, because that's the one thing people don't think about when they're going to bug out or whatever. They don't think about comfort. They don't think about, yeah. And see, that's the thing. You have to you have to learn to put comfort in with you. Surviving doesn't have to be hurt. It doesn't have to be uncomfortable. It doesn't have to be sleeping on the cold hard ground as with a rock as your pillow. Don't don't think like that. Don't think like our ancestors in the pioneer days. This is 2022. There is so many things that you can pack up at as the size of a notebook and put in a pocket. There is sleeping pillows that are air blown up that is smaller than this notepad that can fit in anywhere. There is, I mean, there is blankets, there is sleeping bags, there is tents that weigh on there's tents that can withstand up to like negative 20 degrees that can fit in your literally fit in your back pocket. The only thing that can't fit in your pockets is the tent stakes and the tent poles that go with it. So, I mean, we are in a society and to where we have made things so lightweight, so usable. Yes, you do, big brother. Yes, you do. Just asking for a friend, Ryan. Um, there's a lot of a lot of upgrading to be able to put a chainsaw and viably attach it to your hand without putting a quarter-inch screw, a couple of screws through the bone and all that stuff to hold it in place because it's a vibrating motor and a pull action chain. So if you're going to use that chainsaw to go through bodies or bone or anything like that, it's going to catch on meat and bones and pull off of your arm unless you lock it down. But good thinking. And also you gotta get gas to replenish it unless you get an electric chainsaw and hook up a solar panel to it, but still that won't have enough horsepower to actually hack through a body. Um, but in all truth, we are not single warriors. We're not. We want to think we are. Hey Beth, how you doing, sis? You thought it was a great question. I love y'all. But the the idea that we've been given is that we're invincible, that we are top of the food chain and everything. And we're not. We are not top of the food chain when it comes to nature. Nature is nature is the top dog in any situation. Nature is first. Nature has so many elements that kills us because we are not our ancestors. We don't have the same build as our ancestors did. I mean, our bodies are truly meant to eat raw meat. Our bodies can process raw meat better than it can cooked meat. But the idea of cooked meat for things saying like pork or chicken, stuff like that, we have to cook it, to process it, to eat it, because pork flesh carries over 1,000 worms in its skin. So you have to cook it to kill those worms. Chickens carry so many diseases in it because they are coop creatures. They survive together. They keep warm together. So they develop sicknesses just like humans, right? Yeah. And that's the thing. And it's not just the cold, you know. Heat is just as much of a killer as the cold is. And that's why they say humans of today can only withstand extreme conditions for 3 hours straight. That's not 3 hours off and on or anything like that, but 3 hours straight of being out in extreme conditions. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Big Brother Dave. I'm sorry. Ryan. But there is so many things that we have processed and we have created to for us to eat on a daily basis that we made ourselves and we thought it was easier to capture because it was easier to capture. The reason why we didn't capture deer and have venison on shelves or anything until like the last, 100 years is because of their ability to jump out of pens, to be able to escape. And also, you can eat everything on a deer. You don't have to just eat venison backstraps. Everything on a deer is edible. Their groin, their heart, their eyes, brain, everything. So the thing is, when push comes to shove, don't worry too much about meat. Meat will always be around unless you have every average Joe with a gun going out into the woods and just slaughtering everything. Right, Beth. Yeah. And that's the thing. That's how we learned how to forage ourselves. It's because we watched wild animals, what they could eat. I mean, unlike squirrels, where squirrels can eat acorns just out of the blue, we can't because of the tannic acids in it. I mean, we have to purge the tannic acids out of it to where it does, where it's not sour. Um, Too much acorns can kill you. Um, Tannic acids is the one thing that will shut down the human body. Um, yes, yes, good old cannibalism. Always, I could have a Ryan, a Ryan hoagie. Nice. Right, Ryan? Yeah. So take into reality what's going on. Take in the mindset of what is going on. Use that to fuel yourself. Use that to get things done that needs to be done. Don't think just because you're in a specific area or whatever that you cannot start. Hey Stephen brother, how you doing? Dave. Oh, it's okay, Beth. There's hundreds and hundreds of cannibalistic tribes that are still alive today. It's just civilization that stopped them from doing it. But yeah, cannibalism has happened since, the Neanderthals. So why not? Meat is meat. I'll tell you that right now. Meat is meat. And if push comes to shove, I love you all, but I don't have a problem taking a knife and gutting you from stomach, from groin to throat. So sorry. I love y'all. But I'll have a meat hook with every one of your names on it. And you know what the best way of doing it is? Still keeping you alive as I dissect the meat off of you. Because humans are the ones that are the quickest to decay. So if you think about cannibalism, humans decay faster than any other animal. So if you think you're going to preserve human meat and eat it over a long period of time, you're not. Right, Dave. Right, Ryan. Yeah. But the thing is you need the human still alive to preserve the meat. Fun fact. Anyways, let's let's continue on this downward spiral, shall we? I've heard it tastes like multiple different things. I've heard it smells like pork when it's cooked. I heard it tastes like fish. I've heard it tastes like beef. Certain parts of depends on what the human eats, depends on what it tastes. Like if they're a vegetarian, they're going to taste more gamey. They're going to be not as tight of meat. Kind of like deer. Deer will fall apart easily. Any kind of like herbivore, their meat is will fall apart. That's why it's easy to make ground venison. That's why it's easy to have very good flank steak off of, deers and stuff like that. But if you go to something like a bear and you kill a bear, it's meaty. It's more tougher to eat. Yeah, I mean, humans will turn into cannibals in the long run, in down the road when actual processed food ends. Um, and when wildlife and everything starts becoming more scarce. Um, it's not like it's not like it was in the 15th and 14th century where wild game was everywhere. There's too many people to hunt. There's too many people that need food. Um, so the first thing that is going to go is easily accessible wild animals. That means deer. That means cattle. That means horses. That means anything that is easily captured and easily killed will be gone. Most likely, the end of the world, rodents are going to run rampant. Squirrels, rats, rabbits, raccoons, stuff like that are going to be more rampant, um, because people are going to go after other things that they know and they can track easy. Yep, same here, Stephen. I've seen the exact same stuff. But when it's easy and people are hungry, they go for the easiest thing possible. They don't want to wait. And the thing with rodents is rodents can easily spring any kind of trap that you set for them and get away. Um, Same thing with like squirrels will do the same thing. Any smaller game are tricky to capture. If you say otherwise, I want to see you capture. I want to see a video of you capturing a rat with a figure four dead trap in less than a day. I want to see a rat come to the figure four dead trap with minimum bait. I'm not talking about putting peanut butter on it or anything. I'm talking about using natural, because here's the thing, when everything runs out, you're not going to have stuff like what survivalists use, peanut butter. You're not going to have any of that fatty, smell good food that humans eat that attract rats. You're not going to have it. So you're going to have to use natural resources around you that they are already eating to have them come to that trap. Well, here's the thing. If you use the same blueberries on your trap that is from that exact same blueberry bush that is 5 feet away, those rats are going to go to that blueberry bush and not come to your trap because it's easier to get to that bush than something that they don't know and has a mixed scent of humans and blueberries on it. So they're not going to go to there. Oh, how you doing, Dango? Hi, buddy. Everybody say hi to Dango. Say hi, Dango. Yes, yes, Dave. Shotguns always work. Boomsticks always work in any. Thanks. Thanks, kiddo. But look at reality. Look at every situation that you plan for in a reality situation. Do not look at a prepare your survival situations with reality. Do not look at it like you are going home to go sleep in your warm, comfy bed tonight. Look at it as you don't have a warm, comfy bed tonight, and you have to be out in that negative 20 degrees, 10 degrees, whatever degrees it is right now. If it's raining on top of that cold, or if it's extreme heat, then extreme cold, you have to look at those survival situations as a reality. And also, when you go to when you go train for any kind of situation that you think you're going to, don't prepare ahead of time. Don't go to the dollar store. Don't go to somewhere you know that may or may not have water and go to the dollar store and get 2 gallons of water and take with you. Do not go to an area with a water bottle or a water bladder completely filled with fresh drinking water because that's not a reality situation. That is not a reality survival situation. Because here's the thing, 90% of survival situations is people that did not plan for it. People that have already walked a trail or is driving home from work or whatever, and they can't make it home. So that means they have maybe half a drink or they have a say they stopped at a Burger King or a fast food restaurant and got a drink and they were drinking it on the way. So, like me, right now, I have a quarter of a jug of milk with me, quarter of a pint, 1 pint. I have a quarter of it left. This is a real survival situation that most of us are in. This is my drink. This is what I would be with if I left work right now and was heading home and got into a situation where my car broke down or I had a wreck and I went off into the woods and nobody knew where I went. This is all I would have to drink until I could get somewhere that may or may not have water. And even if it may have drinking water with it, if I can't purify it, yes, I can purify it in this thick plastic jug by holding it above the fire and boiling the water out of it. But that boiling will only last up to 5 times before this melts a hole into it and I cannot boil anymore. You won't rely on me, Ryan? What, you think I'm gonna put you on a meat hook the second day into survival? No, I won't do that. I'll wait until a month. But it's you have to look at the situations that you are in. Everybody can play pretend survival. Everybody can play pretend whatever in a perfect scenario. But what we're not planning for and what we're not training our bodies to do is the real life scenarios of the after effect of everything. That means we are not training our bodies to rely on bare minimum rationing. We are not preparing our bodies for starvation pains. We are not preparing how to think or cope with situations when we can't even think properly because our hunger is making our judgments cloudy. I do love you, Ryan. That's why I'm going to keep you around for a month. Right. Life straws are good, yes, for immediate use. Because life straws can only filter up to 100 gallons of water. A Sawyer Mini can filter up to 100,000 gallons. So it's better, I mean, for a immediate use, say that you're out scavenging or need whatever, and your base camp is, say, 6 miles away, and you found a purified source of drinking water. Take that life straw with you and put it in your pocket. Then you can drink on your way to foraging or whatever that you're going to do. You can use that for the immediate end, but for the long term use at your base camp or whatever, hold the Sawyer Mini with you because the Sawyer Mini is going to be your everlasting filtration. Use those first, yes. But the thing is no matter what, you are going to have to return to boiling water. You're going to have to learn how to drink hot water. Because here's the thing there is, after boiling hot water, it takes forever for it to cool down. And if you're in a situation where you need cool water to saturate your thirst, you're not going to get it. You're going to have to drink that hot water. It's going to raise your body temperature. It's going to hurt you. But you are hydrating your body at the same time. It's a double bladed knife. It's good, but it hurts. So you're going to have to learn how to quell that thirst in other ways until that water is cool enough to drink to where you can drink it. And then after you get to that point of boiling water, you're going to be in such a state of thirst and dehydration that you're going to drink all that water in one sitting. You're not going to know how to ration that water because your mindset is on quenching your thirst. Um, it's, and that's the stuff that I'm trying to get people prepared for is the truth, the actual realization of what's going to happen. Because nobody wants to hear the bad. Everybody wants to hear the good. Everybody wants to hear that everything's a-okay. You have all your wonderful gear. You have this. You have that. But the thing is, they're man-made products. They have a they have a expiration date, not a literal expiration date, but they have a limited use. They run out, just like your lighter, just like anything else. They have limited uses for so long. until it's gone. What do you do after all your resources are gone? All your man made superhuman gear that is made for your survival, it runs out, it breaks, it it gets holes in it. It is made to be disposed after a certain time period. Right. Always pre-filter, because even with like Sawyer minis and live straws and everything, the filters get clogged because people don't think of that. Like what CR said, people will just stick a live straw into the muddiest, dirtiest water. And I'm not talking about sticking it in, because you're supposed to put the live straw in 3 to 4 inches into the water and drink out of it, not putting it at the top of the water and drinking that muck, that algae, all the stuff that can contaminate and clog the filter. Don't do that, because it's a filter and it will get clogged. You and CR, Ryan, you both are coffee addicts. I mean, you know, not saying anything, but y'all are coffee addicts. Y'all need to stop drinking so much coffee. I mean, jeez. But that's the livelihood of America and other things. Yeah, I know the UK, they all got their tea and all that stuff. Right. It's but realize everything will and can break. It's not invincible. None of this stuff that you buy, whether you spend $10 on a, say you spend $10 on a schmog, okay? Or you spend $500 on a schmog. It's the same exact thing. It will get holes in it. It will catch fire. It will disintegrate over time. It is not invincible. Same thing with water filters. Same thing with knives. Whether you have a $20 bargain bin flea market Pakistan knife or a $5,000 Falkenhaven A1 knife, it's still a knife. It will still do what you needed to do as long as you have the skills for it. If you're a dumbass and you abuse both knives, it doesn't matter if it's $5,000 knife with A1 tool steel or a cheap carbon blade Pakistan knife. They will break. They will break because everything has its tension strength. That's how metal is. It it will break. My favorite cryptid is in here. Everybody say hi to Deanna. Hi, Deanna. Now, not everybody all at once, because it will scare her, and she will run back into the wilderness to never be seen again. So you all got to be, careful with her. But she's an adorable cryptid. Love you, Deanna. So look at your skill set. Handle your skill set. I'm not saying make every skill set that you have impeccable. Don't, we're not gods. We're not perfect in everything. But there is some skills that you can learn and you can master that you don't need to damage things with. You know, learn how to take care of your knife and use it as what it's supposed to be, a tool. And don't think you're going to put it on the end of a freaking stick, jump out of a tree, and act like Rambo First Blood and, you know, gut a mountain lion with it. You're not. And that's a waste, and that's idiocy to do that because you can lose that knife, lose the one tool that you need for processing 90% of things that you need to process with. Don't do it. And do not rely on a regular multi tool. A multi tool is a backup tool. All right. I have Gerber multi tools. I have Leatherman multi tools. They have all broken on me with extreme use. Even Leatherman. Yeah, Leatherman will replace anything that's broken. But in the end of the world, you ain't going to get that replaced when you break that knife or anything like that. Think of a multi tool as a glorified Swiss Army knife. That's all it is. Well, Dave, I will let you dress up as John Rambo. We'll let you dress up as John Rambo. Is that okay? I'm at work, Deanna says. You're still gonna wrestle the bear, Ryan. I can't let you get hurt, sir. You are my backup. Um, you're my backup. Um, you're the backup to the backup of our supplies. We have to keep you in perfect shape, sir. I can't let any gangrene or infections take over that body, sir. I just can't let that happen. I'm sorry. Right, CR. Right. I mean, everything is connected. Bushcrafting, survival, prepping, homesteading, all of this stuff is connected. One skill isn't better than the other. But having a jack of all trades and all skills is what people need. They need to be a jack of all trades, not a master of one. Always, Ryan. Always. It'd be like Days of Our Lives, Beth. It'd be a soap opera in the woods. Um, but the thing is, like I said, everything is a tool. It's used for a purpose. Some things are used for multiple things, but the skills have to go with it. Like the Leatherman knife. The Leatherman knife and saw is just as flimsy as a Swiss Army knife. It's not a locking blade. It's a thin piece of stainless steel. Stainless steel breaks. Stainless steel has a tension strength of like 1,000 or 1,500 psi, I believe. So using it to trying to open mollusks or trying to pull, like sea creatures or stuff like that, off of rocks or anything, you will break it. You will break it trying to cut into something that is stronger than that blade. You got all the tools, Dave. You got all of them. Deanna, don't worry. We will bring you, fresh squirrel and not tell you that it's squirrel. But it's true. And don't waste your time on archaic skills. A bow drill, a hand drill. Yes, they are good if it's the very, very, very last ditch effort. But the thing is, doing both of those to something that is not practiced every moment, every day, it's time consuming, it's calorie reducing. It will put you in more of a hunger state than lighting it with a lighter or a flint and steel. There is 100 different ways in this day of age than going back to an archaic way of life. Why do you think tribal people, there's only a handful of tribal people that have one person in the whole entire damn tribe that knows how to make a fire using archaic ways? Everybody else uses a lighter. Everybody else uses instant flame. I mean, hell, you can get programinate, whatever that stuff is that can make fire. You know, third world countries use that chemical to start fires, to purify their water, everything. Hey, Ron, brother, how you doing? Well, we won't tell you. We won't tell you, Deanna. Don't worry. Right, Keno. Right. And 10 hours to start a fire with an archaic way. And look how much sweat and determination and everything that he had to do that. But, and here's the thing, you're doing all that for one small ember, an ember to put into a tinder, to put into a tinder bundle to blow into flame. And here's the thing, one small breath, one drop of sweat, after doing all that hard work, can put it out. And you have to go through that whole entire process once again. Right. Yeah. He's an expert. Bear Grylls is an expert. Les Stroud is supposed to know all these wild edibles and everything. Even in his backyard, he mistaken a poisonous plant for wild cucumbers because he forgot one minute detail and realized it after he already ate it that he ate the wrong plant and he got sick. There has been multiple times that Les Stroud has misidentified wild edibles and got sick off of it. That's what I'm trying to say. Humans, we are not perfect. We will not know every damn thing that there is to know from millions upon millions of different ancestors and tribes and different ways of life. It's hard, and you can't remember it all. And that's what will kill people, thinking that they're going to go out in the middle of the woods. I went with a group of people that was older than me. These people were in their 50s, 60s, hunting hunting this whole entire area all their life. And they said they did the oldest trick in the book, okay, to try to find our way back. And they're like, well, moss grows on the north side of the tree. Correct, on some trees. But on birch trees, moss grows around it because it doesn't have one specific spot that it stays. It's only on oak trees that moss grows. Well, they came to a river birch tree and it had moss growing all around it. And they said, "Well, it's growing all around the backside of it, so that means it's going north." And I was like, "But we just came from that way. So that means that we were north the whole entire time. So that means civilization would be at the top of the mountain or over the mountain." And that's not true. We were on the south side and we had to go north. That, but they were saying, "No, no, 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 no. That's the south side. So we do have to go over this." You cannot rely on old wives' tales about a lot of things because nature will trick you. Nature finds a way to survive in any way possible, just like humans. Right, CR. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, and it's like if you're trapped out in the wilderness and everything, you take punk wood that's wet and you put it over your fire. The, the punk wood, the rotting, spongy wood that you find, that's called punk wood. That's what CR is saying. If you put punk wood over the top of your fire as a shelter to your fire and you have no other way of doing it and it rains, that punk wood will absorb all the rainwater as a sponge and it will not drip onto the fire and put it out. That's what I want to hear, Dave. That's what I want to hear. There we go. $10 Gerber knife and faith in Bear Grylls. I'm gonna go and elbow drop a salmon in the middle of the Arctic, and drag it out. And I'm gonna make me a wet gear out of a seal carcass and go swimming in subarctic water and survive. Oh yeah, CR, you can. Thank you, Keno. Yeah, that's the thing, and a lot of survival books and everything that we have grown up reading, they are archaic also. There is no there hasn't been an updated survival book within the last 30 years of updating the quality of camping gear now, telling people what to put in with today's standards, you know. they still have people building lean-tos, A-frames, all this stuff that is time consuming, that is calorie inducing. Instead of somebody buying a survival bivy, a survival tube tent that is made out of mylar and yellow, I mean orange, and building a simple structure with it, and it's lightweight. It fits in your back pocket. But no, survival manuals want you to go out and hack down five trees, cover it in moss and sticks, take your shoelaces, build a bow drill out of it, put another 6 hours of work into doing that, and not eat anything or drink anything afterwards. Worry about all that stuff. Yeah, yeah. Best thing you're going to do is just piss it off. You probably won't even feel it. You probably won't feel the blow dart, unless you hit it in the eye or something. Yes, CR. Right, CR. Yeah. Snow shelters, igloos, stuff like that. Everything has a skill. Everything has, you have to be in the right element for it. It has to be the right season. It's just like wild edibles. Everybody thinks that they're going to run out into the woods and everything, and it's going to be November, and they're going to run into blackberry bushes galore and just survive off of berries and twigs, and that's it. They think, oh, that's what I need. That I'm going to eat that. No. First off, you have to know if there's any resources at all at that bush. Second of all, you have to fight nature for it. Third of all, it's in November. What you have left is pre rotting berries because it's going into winter, and those berries are no longer good to eat. And then you're in November, so bears are going into hibernation state. So your food, you have to watch out for all the wild edibles and everything that nature is trying to eat also. And you are the problem. And what's better to solve that problem than to kill you and eat you? They're not just going to back up and say, oh, that's a human. Go ahead and eat first. Give Dave the doll treatment. Right, you do, Ron. Right, CR. I mean, technically, you could survive without shelter if you have a means to make fire, and you have a means to collect firewood that is dry, not damp, and you have tinder and all this stuff. It, if you have a big enough fire and a hot enough fire, you can survive anything. But shelter is only needed in case it rains and high winds. Anything else, fire beats everything. Um, Water, on the other hand, yeah, that's a must-have resource. It's it's the symbol of life. It is the motivation of life. Well, Dave needs fire to keep you warm, Beth. But be vigilant. You know, do instead of preparing without preparing, prepare for the worst. Train for the worst situation. Yeah, it can. Yeah. I just shelter is one of the things that's the last thing on my list because of where I live. Where I was raised, where I live now, we don't really have to worry about increasing cold or danger or anything like that. Most of the times here in Texas, when I go out into the wilderness, I don't even take a tent with me. I just take a wool blanket and use that as a cowboy pad, a cowboy roll, and I sleep around the fire because most of the time it doesn't get cold. Yeah, yeah, Kenna. That the aspen trees, willow trees, and river birch, they're always around abundant sources of water. Even if you don't see water, they are around water sources, which means you may have to dig, but there's water in that area. You just have to find damp earth. Oh yeah, David. Yeah. But like I said, always prepare for the worst case scenario because in a perfect world, all of our stuff wouldn't be needed. You know, if everybody could go out into the woods with just a I mean, if everybody could just go out to the woods with a knife, you know, just a knife and survive, we all would do it. And we all wouldn't need ideas. But that's not it. Everything else has to play a part. And you have to know the bad before you know the good. You can plan for the good, but you can never plan for the bad until you experience it. Right. That's true, CR. I mean, it's like I said, these last 2 years have been the weirdest weather in Texas, you know? Yeah, yeah, naked and afraid, yeah. Well, Beth, I hate to tell you, but that little thing ain't going to protect you against you starving. What it eats is too small of a quantity to keep any of y'all alive. So it's going to eat what it eats, and it's not going to give a damn about y'all. I'll tell you that right now. It's just like If you're trapped in the middle of the woods and a Sasquatch comes by and sees you sitting there starving and in pain and hungry, what's it going to do? It ain't going to take you home. It ain't going to cuddle you like a baby. No, it's going to leave you, and then it'll come back after you're dead and devour your body because it knows there's a free meal. They don't give a damn about us. They don't care. Trust me. Keno, each one has its purpose. You know, I don't like silky saws myself because they are a pull cut. So that means you can jam the blade by pushing it. So it has to glide first, then pull on the cut. That's how a lot of people break those blades, is because they think it's a pull and push. So it binds, it breaks. The best one for like beginners, the it the best saw for beginners and even experts is the is any pruning blade. Um, but even though silky saw is a pruning blade, also a pruning saw, also, but the majority of American pruning blades are a push pull system. Um, like a Fisker's folding saw, it's a push and pull. Um, those are the best because not only does it cut through with both push and pull, but it also makes sawdust for you. So you can use that sawdust. If you collect it, you can use it as tinder, as a fire source for your fire that you're going to make. Um, but a camp axe is more for processing wood. Um, it's more for colder areas because the wood is so hard from snow and the cold and stuff like that that you need something to actually hack into it. You need a wedge to break it. Um, they're both good. It just depends on what situation that you're in. But that's the thing. You don't know what situation you'll always be in. So it's either you're going to keep one with you and put the other one back as a backup, and you can get into a situation where you may need the other one and not say you're taking a trip up north, okay, up to Minnesota, up to Canada, whatever, and you pack just your folding saw. Well, that's going to be good for collecting tinder and everything, but it's not going to be good for actual processing of wood. Or you may go down south and you have an axe and not the folding saw, and it's the same thing. You don't need axes in hot temperatures because it's just going to bounce off with a camp axe, which has a a wood splitting head. Um, Even though it's called a wedge head, so it helps process wood better. Um, yeah, a wooden wedge can help. I mean, but but CCR, you're getting into too much overthinking on stuff. Like, the majority of people, they don't have a huge backpack with whatever in it. If you're going on a family camping trip, or I mean, like a family trip to go see family or whatever, yeah, a lot of us will throw in just a quick survival kit or whatever in the back of their car, a 3 to 5 pound bag. Nobody's going to throw their whole entire bug out kit into there that has everything and anything for every situation. That's another thing that people don't that people need to realize. You're not going to have everything and anything for every situation. Even if you took an inch bag, you're still going to leave out items that you think you would have, or the idea of it should be in there, but it's not in there. So, or you took it out because it weighs too much, or and you replaced it with something else. But it's you're never going to have the right tool for the right situation. That's what I'm trying to say. I mean, take that to mind. No matter how much you prepare, you're never going to have the right, you're never going to have what you need for every situation. You're not. You're going to have to make do without. You're going to have to take one cutting tool. You're going to have to take one processing tool. You're going to have to take, one resource item. It's how much space you have, because not everybody can pack every item in the damn world into a 5x3 trunk on top of other things that they need. I love you, CR, bro. But it's, and realize this, realize, think, think realistically about all situations. I mean, it's how much can you carry? I know there's people that are ex-military and all this stuff, and yeah, you know, yeah, I get people all the time saying, "Yeah, I'm ex-military. I was in the military in the '80s. I'm used to carrying a 120 pound, Molly bag and a 30-pound rucksack and a 10-pound butt pack and all this stuff." Yeah, that was when you were how old in the 80s? You were in your 20s in the 80s, and now it's 2022, and you haven't had a military workout or anything since maybe the 90s. So you're telling me that you can lift and carry that exact same weight now over 30 years? No, you can't. You're not going to be able to carry that stuff. And you're not going to be huffing it like Arnold Schwarzenegger through the woods, through brambles, through trees, connecting branches, because that 120-liter backpack that you're carrying, that is 75 pounds plus, trying to get through thick brush or thick woods, it ain't happening. It's not. I'm 38 and I can't do that shit. Be serious. No, Dave. No, you won't be thick. No. But I'm tired of blowhards. I'm tired of glory hounds in our. Thanks, Dave. That makes me feel good. Right, Dave. See, like that. Think ahead. Always think ahead. I mean, you can't do it at every place, but like where you're going to go, David. So you plan ahead of time. So it's kind of like how people plan a bug out location from their normal house. People that save up money, buy an extra plot of land in the wilderness somewhere, and you know, they have backup supplies to their backups. That's kind of that way. Right, Ron. Are you but Oh, I know there's a lot of ex-military in here. But the thing is, Ron, when you were in the military, like I was saying, you were carrying 200 plus pounds of equipment on you in the military. When was the last time that you had to strap up with all that equipment and everything and walk 20 miles, 30 miles? I mean, do you think the should I ask this question? Do you think you could carry 200 plus pounds for 30 miles now than what you were in the when you were in the military? I mean, any of you ex-military, can you carry the exact same weight? Good job, CR. Right, Keno? Yeah, I never served, but I came from a military family. And I can tell you right now that none of my uncles or cousins or anything that are out of the military would even be caught dead carrying all that gear ever again. Like, they hated it when they were in the military. They knew how strenuous it was. Dave. But but that's the thing. In my chats, in my live streams, I want the truth. I want people to admit the truth. I'm tired of seeing these other YouTube channels and all this stuff of people in their 30s that are working out every day, that act like that they don't have a normal 24-hour job or day-to-day life that they have to take up. And they're working out, they're doing all this stuff and everything to be prepared and all this. Well, you know what? The majority of people that are in these chats that are watching us and learning from us are average Joes, are home, they have a family. They have a normal 9 to 5 job. They are taking care of themselves and they want to be prepared and safe in case something happens. And they want to do it and not kill themselves. Yeah, Keno. I mean, it's age. It's not just age. We our bodies break down. All the ex-military people that I know in my life, they are broken down from the shit that the military made them carry, made them haul around every day. That breaks you. That hurts you. You may not feel it when you're in your 20s, you know, because you're still young, you're still flexible. But that strain and that wear and tear deteriorates and it starts to hurt you when you're older. Silly layabout. I'm not knocking you. I am siding with you. I love all my military people. I love you all. And I thank you all. But the thing is it hurts. It hurts somebody that is peak performance, prime, all this stuff. You know? There you go. But the thing is, I mean, y'all did your part and you're suffering from it now. You know? You're suffering from all that weight and all that abuse and everything that the military put on you. And now, with all that's going on, everything that you need to prepare for, and all this stuff, that you need to go back to that military mindset and pack up, God knows, your whole entire house and carry it on your back like a snail. Yeah, right. But it's, I'm sorry, but it's a strain. It's something no normal human. You're right. Yeah, right. Right, Dave. It's, I mean, the reality, and I know if push comes to shove, all of us would be able to do it, hands down, if we had to. But it's not like it's on your to-do list to pack up a 120-liter mountain bag with 75 pounds of gear and everything and go trotting down the street. You know what I mean? Like, give up everything and just go, go trotting. That's not in our mindset. That is not in our daily needs. And we need to stop telling people to do this. We need to stop in survival and prepping in whatever communities. We need to stop telling people to go. We need to stop telling people to throw everything in their fucking kitchen and their back stock and all this stuff into a backpack and go scampering off into the woods and say fuck society or fuck the world, because half of us are going to die with people telling us to do this. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to be the person that's sitting here telling people to bug out, to make an inch bag, to go making a log cabin and picket fence out in the woods and living like a hermit. No. The majority of us have too many sicknesses. The majority of us has too many medical problems. The majority of us can hardly get up out of a couch without pain aching through our body. It's better for you to bug in. Your preps, your livelihood, everything that you have saved and you have been preparing for is in your house, is in your bubble. Don't walk out of your bubble unless you truly, truly have to. That's the only time you need to say, fuck it, I'm gone. But at least read the signs, read what's going on, and give yourself at least a week to prepare your mode of transportation, the way you're going to take stock with you. Prepare that before you leave. Don't leave in such a rush that you need 2 hours to get everything out, put it in a car, and go. Don't. You're going to hurt yourself. You are going to end up doing something and mess up. It's reality. It's you're playing with fire when you wait to the last countdown. If you see planes flying overhead and they're about to drop something, you might as well just smile and sit it out because you're not getting out of there. If the water is poisoned and it was poisoned a month ago and you're just now realizing because you're sick, it's too late to leave. You might as well sit it out and enjoy the rest of your life while you're dying. It's the God's honest truth. Thanks, Gino. I mean, this is the real stuff that can happen. This is the real stuff that you cannot prepare for. And there's no sense in running when you're already 1 foot in the grave. Sorry, Dave. I'm sorry, brother. I mean, I just want people to be awake. I just want people to realize what's happening. You know, it's it's always better to protect your castle. Protect your castle to your last dying breath. Protect your loved ones because nobody else is going to protect you or your family. It's you and you alone. Nobody will give a damn when it comes to you or them. It's always and always has been them over you. Right, Ron. Yeah. Take care, CR brother. Love you. Take care, man. Yes, sir, Dave. Yeah. it's there is no gold at the end of the rainbow in survival. There is no gold at the end of the rainbow in a SHTF situation. It's going to be pain. It's going to be suffering. It's going to be starvation. People killing people. And you want to bug out and run into that stuff with, I mean, you want to bug out and run into that stuff and not be prepared completely. At least when you're guarding your house, they have to come to you, right, Keno? Unless it's a damn volcano erupting or forest fires or something. At least even with natural disasters, you still know that it's going to happen and you still have time to prepare before it comes to you, unless you are directly on the mouth of that volcano or your house is the one that started the forest fire. You know, before it comes to you, you have plenty of time to prepare, to start. As soon as you see it happening, you have the time and maybe you have the family to help pack everything that you need and go. But that's the only point. That's the only time. Yeah. No, I just it's these other survivalists. Oh wow, I got so many people. Say hello to Trey La Fouque Dico. Thank you, Dave, brother. But and that's another thing that we need to do. I just found out. Um, okay, so if you know anybody that is a type 1 diabetic that is insulin dependent, okay, because I'm insulin dependent type 1 diabetic, I'm a juvenile diabetic. So there's a Walmart, the Walmart pharmacy is now selling Novolin 70/30 blend, Novolin R and N, which is the long lasting and the fast acting single bottles, and the 70/30 blend, which is 70% the long lasting and 30% of the fast acting. They are going for $25 a bottle now without a prescription, and $25 just paid and go. They don't take insurance on it or nothing like that. It's $25 a bottle. If you, and these insulin bottles have a 5-year expiration date on them. So they are good for 5 years. And the thing about this insulin is um, it's a natural human insulin. So it can be both cold stored and it can be room temperature stored and still survive. Um, So if you know anybody in your family or anything like that, have them stock on this insulin because people need it to live. You cannot, it is a death that nobody wants, especially a diabetic. But $25 a bottle compared to other name brand insulins that are $700 to $800 a bottle without insurance, and you need a prescription for that stuff. Stockpile it. Stockpile it now. I just found out about it because I cannot go across the border once again because Mexico shut the border down. So I can't go and get my yearly supply of insulin from Mexico. So I've had to look at alternatives to get insulin for me. Even though I still have a year's supply of insulin, I was looking just in case. Um, but if you're worried about your children or your loved ones or somebody in your family or friends or whatever, let them know. Let them know that you can just walk up to the pharmacy and say, I want the $25 bottle. And it's better to get the 70/30 blend instead of having to mix the N and the R together, because some people can die by mixing the wrong amounts. Um, yes, always stockpile the medicine that you need or a alternative medicine to what you need. Um, it's the only thing. I am too, Dave. I am too, brother. That's why I'm doing this. That's why I'm beating this dead horse with a stick and being real about it. Because we don't know what's over the next rock. We don't know. It's it is scary times. It's very scary. I I had a breakdown. And if it wasn't for this guy right here, if it wasn't for this guy right here, I don't know what I would be doing, what I would be thinking. That's my brother. That's my big brother. He was the cool head that got me thinking straight again. But the thing is always prepare for the worst because the worst will come before the good. Yes, sir, brother. Yes. It's prepare for the worst. Don't think about the good. Whether or not you think you have enough food for 6 months, in reality, you have food for 3 months. If you have food stocked up for a year, you have food stocked up for 6 months. You always have to triple the amount of stock that you hold to reach your thought of what time frame you have. Hey, Mystery, how you doing? And I know people don't have enough space for it or anything like that. And I know the majority of us are making ends meet as it is week by week. Some of us monthly. Ah, nice. We're not all rich. We're not we're not like other people. The majority of preppers are scraping by. And that's why I try helping people because I came from poor. I I'm still poor. Why do you think I work so much? So I can have the extra money to go to my preps, to go to every little thing that is needed on top of my bills, on top of everything. I am in the same seat as y'all. That's why I tell y'all about shopping at Dollar Trees. That's why I tell people to shop at discount stores for everything and anything that they need. Do not buy into this name brand bullshit because the name brand stuff is name brand, which means its quality is shit. It comes from a big box store. It will break and it will break cheaper and it will break easier because you have to take care of it more. Hey, Eli, brother. And none of us have 300 extra dollars to spend on a sub-zero mylar infused sleeping bag. We don't have an extra $500 to buy on this brand new whatever item that somebody's doing a review on. Most of my survival gear come from a website called Wish and Alibaba. You know why? It's cheap and it's the same quality as I would get from Walmart or anything else. Yes, I have to wait a long time to get it, but it's not electronics, but it's the stuff that I need. Camping pods, sleeping bags, tents, stuff like that. Stuff that is made and sold in Walmart. The exact same brands, everything. Hey NC, how you doing? Oh, thank you, Eli, brother. Right, Beth. That's what I'm trying to say. The majority of us, the majority of us are scraping by, and it's hard. It's hard to survive just everyday life, let alone something like SHTF. Right, Ken. I mean, you can find decent deals and stuff from big websites, things like that. But, places like Wish and Alibaba, they have the same name brand stuff, but they call it something different. Like, I don't know if I don't know if you know the Pathfinder brand that Dave Canterbury sells. Well, I just bought the whole entire Dave Canterbury the Pathfinder single person survival essentials kit. Comes with the whole entire cook kit, canteen, the Nalgene single wall stainless steel mug, all bits and baubles and all that stuff off of Wish for $30. It has the Pathfinder symbol on it, but it doesn't say Pathfinder on it. $30 for it. On Dave Canterbury's website, that exact same kit sells for almost $200 because it says Pathfinder on it. And I think that's stupid. And he gets all his stuff made from a Chinese company too, so he can sell it for cheap. How is it that Wish is selling it for cheaper than he is? For literally a quarter of the price cheaper. And I mean, all this stuff, you're going to have to realize that all this stuff is going to be, all this stuff is going to be from everything. It come across the water. Okay, I hope I'm back. So everything that you can order online that is a good deal right now, pick it up. I mean, pick it up because it's not going to be here no more. Okay? You take that into reality also because the biggest distributor of a lot of this stuff that we have in America comes from China, comes from Taiwan, comes from Mexico. And with distribution shortages and all these truck drivers that are going on strike and lack of truck drivers and all this stuff to distribute this, it's going to take longer. But buy everything right now while you have the resources to buy it. Because pretty soon, who knows what's going to happen? But it's better to prepare with stuff that you have than not be prepared and be caught with your pants down and no Vaseline. Easiest way to put it. I mean, you can either go ahead and Vaseline yourself and grab your ankles and smile, then be caught off guard and have it full force put into you. And out of the two, I'd rather take the Vaseline because none of this survival, homesteading, anything, none of it is glorious. None of it is thankful. Hey, Maria says, right, Dave. Always, always take the lube. I mean, it's one of those things. Prepare, prepare, prepare. If you have to get cheaper, do it. If you have to go aluminum, do it. Quit being a pussy about aluminum because you heard it on the internet that it's going to do whatever. The aluminum only causes sicknesses and everything is if you're bare scraping the side of it and you're creating aluminum shards and you're ingesting aluminum. But if you know how to handle aluminum, you don't have to worry about it. I mean, for God's sake, Scouts of America has been using aluminum time, and it's all but it's too dead. But this is the stuff that you need to realize. Okay, aluminum is going to outlast you. Aluminum will still be around. Stainless steel will be around forever. There is no point in buying titanium. Titanium is a bullshit metal that's not heat properly. It has spotchy heat points on it. So you may have one side of your food cooking clean and the other side of it still cold or lukewarm. Alum, alum, aluminium, aluminum, aluminium. Right. Uh, Look what is cheaper for you. Even if you have to go to military surplus to buy your stuff instead of buying name brand stuff, it was tried and tested and lasted for years. The military grade stuff will hold on. If that's all you have a budget for, get it. As long as you have something, as long as you are preparing in whatever you can. Right, NC Deb. Still, still support. Still buy. If we stop buying because of the fear, that means they don't have jobs for the ones that are working. at least support the truckers and everything that are doing their job, that are still working. Because you know what? They're human just like us. They need their paycheck. They need to live on that paycheck to survive. The businesses could give a shit about us in reality. Like the actual business owners and stuff, because they've made their billions of dollars and they can sit back and not have to worry about if they keep their lights on or their water or how they going to afford food this week. I mean, big business people don't have to worry about where their money comes from. They don't have to worry about any of that stuff. Yes, yes, you're down to only spit, Uncle Ghost. Yeah, that's Uncle Ghost, Dave. Sorry about that, Brandon. Oh, that was great. That's what Ghost has wanted all this time. He wanted somebody to think he was a troll. He is sitting there laughing right now. That is exactly what he wanted, Beth. Yeah, lots of them have been in here. Yeah, I don't care. I tell people to recognize the trolls and tell them hi. See, Brendan's been laughing. You finally got what you wanted, Uncle Ghost. But yeah, you're down to spit only. I'll only allow you to have spit, Ghost. That's it. And I'll give you a ration of a teaspoon of water so you can supply those saliva glands. But the thing is, I mean, a lot of us in these situations are barely getting by. I mean, with food shortages, with distribution shortages, stuff like this, a lot of things stock up now. Stock up not only beans and rice and flour, but stock up on your spices. Because here's the thing that nobody tells you about is hunger confusion or hunger, what is it called, hunger strikes or whatever. E- Eating the same taste over and over again. It could be beans, rice, whatever, but eating the exact same flavor over and over again gets you to a point where you cannot stomach it, where you, just the smell, the exact same smell of same item will make you sick. Yeah, but it is a legitimate question. Yeah, buy salt too. And that's a thing, Brandon. Like, people don't understand. People in this day of age don't understand what spices do. I mean, salt is such a universal thing. I mean, you can prepare meat with it. You can age meat. You can heal wounds with salt. You, Salt is a go-to for everything. It's an electrolyte. It You can take salt and replenish your electrolytes with it. You don't need Gatorade. You don't need all this special whatever for it. It's salt. I mean, but that's the difference between old school and new school. The people from years past, we know what we were taught by our grandparents and our great grandparents. But kids nowadays, they don't have their grandparents. They don't have their great grandparents to teach them this stuff. So they only know what they Google, you know, and then they don't have parents that will teach them any of this stuff either. And we're supposed to rely, we're supposed to rely on Generation XYZ to save us. I bet, you know, I bet Brandon, 100% for Generation XYZ to save us, aren't you? Aren't you, Brandon? Yeah, that is 100% true. How you doing, brother? Oh, that's good. Yeah, it's a little bit nipply out there. But Brandon, you don't think Generation XYZ will bail us out? You don't want to put faith in them, sir? Hey, Wicked, how you doing? Thank you so much. Thank you. But I will. I'm going to continue on with this. I love cryptids. I love the paranormal and stuff. But that stuff's going to be on a back burner for a long time right now. because this needs to be put out. Right, right, Brandon. It's all fun and games, you know. In reality, it's all fun and games to be able to go out into the woods and do what you love. Oh, I'm good, Wicked. How about you? That's the thing. We don't have a generation. We don't have a generation that's willing to fight anymore. We don't have a generation that's willing to listen to this because they believe the government is the end all be all protection. And that's not the case. They will realize when push comes to shove, there is nobody that's going to protect you. And our government doesn't give a shit about us. Doesn't give a shit about the individual. They don't care about me. They don't care about Brandon. They don't care about Wicked. They don't care about David. They don't care about Dave or Beth. No, sorry. Watching and seeing what the maintenance person is doing. They got in their truck for some reason and the thing is, we all have, right, Dave? Right. And, we've relied on it for so long. Yeah. Yeah, David. I mean, it's boiling. It's coming to a slow boil. Right, Beth. The thing, the thing with a lot of, right, right, Brandon, right. Snowflakes in a diaper. That's what I call it. And I probably pissed off a lot of people. And I'm not sorry about it. But this world now is a snowflake in a diaper. Take care, Bama. Take care, brother. This world, this world is completely different than it was 20 years ago, 30 years ago. these are the shitheads that went and panicked buy toilet paper, instead of looking at what it was and needing actual food and preparing for what was coming. Hell, looking 2 years ago, people thought that this was going to be over in 6 months to a year. And it's not. Everything and anything is being used and abused. Any little side crack or whatever towards the wrong individual can end you up in jail now. Shit, we used to call each other worse things growing up 20 years ago, and people survived it. Right. Right, Brandon. Right. That's the thing, people don't do their research on shit. People don't look at the reality of shit. What was it? What was it, Mr. Darius? What was the thing that we said a couple of live streams ago? You can paint shit gold, but it's still shit, right? And that's how it is. We have painted every turd gold, but it's still shit because of the actions of the mass. Yeah, it's getting to a point where everybody wants to follow in the footsteps of these crazy tin hat wearing preppers, you know? Right, right, Dave. It is far from peachy, but things are still moving, Not not in the way that it was 3 years ago. At least at least 3 years ago, people were not scared of if they're gluten free, no MSG, all natural, whatever bullshit is on their shelf. But now, oh no, it's not on the shelves. Right, right. Yeah. It's, I hate when people say, oh, is it gluten free? I offered a homeless person my Pop Tarts and a bottle of water today. You know what that motherfucker asked me? If it's non GMO. It's a Pop Tart. It's got GMO in it. It's got gluten in it. It's a Pop Tart. And they turned it down. And they said anything would help. I'm starving. Anything would help. God, I wanted to get out of the car. I wanted to beat that motherfucker across the road. It's like everything that you're asking for is a fucking lie. Right, Dave. Right, Beth. Right. No, no. A homeless person is now too good to have a free handout of something that is not in their mindset way of life. And I'm sorry for saying this, but those are the motherfuckers that's going to die first. Right. Right, Dave. Yeah, I see. Yeah, that motherfucker, that picky motherfucker is the one that's trying to beg from a vegan eatery. Yeah, they're going to get far in life. Right. Right, Ghost. Right. Yeah, it's everybody's concern. It's not just us. I mean, technically, isn't every president just a puppet? Isn't it the people like Brandon, the ones that saved this world multiple times, saved our way of thinking? Any of you ex-military, y'all are the ones that saved us, not the fucking president. Y'all are the ones that put your lives on the line for us. While that fucking president sat in his glory paid Oval Office getting hid or whatever the fuck they do. Yeah, yeah. They think just because they sign a bill that they're glorified. Just because they go and meet somebody. They save the world. It's bullshit. It's always bullshit. I tell you right now, if push came to shove, there's 1,000 people that will grab a gun and defend their property. just like how anybody in the military protect their homeland. You know, it, these lights are flickering in this building. I hate, I hate this museum. I hate it. Do you not see this? Go from prepping to ghost bullshit. I hate it. I hate it here. Hell, maybe the spirits are agreeing with us. Maybe that's what they're trying to say. And it's not just this. Everything's blinking. Everything, and it's getting to that time. It's getting to 9 o'clock where there's nobody but me in this building, and all this is starting to go crazy. Yeah, yeah. The other day we received, on top of that mass that I told you about, Dave, we received three Aztec sacrificial mummies that were found at the bottom of the Temple of the Moon here at this location. Yeah, this is this is normal at this witty museum. Everything. Yeah, it's yeah. Oh, I don't want to mess with them. Right, Uncle. Right, Brandon. Right. I still call you Uncle Ghost. I just, I don't know. I'm getting too deep in the rabbit's hole in my mind of what can happen and what could happen, and every every outcome is not good. Every yeah, every outcome in my head for every situation that could happen is not good. It's not good at all. The way Brandon calls it, my GQ haircut. Oh, yeah. My yeah, for every one person that says that they for every one person that is willing to fight and willing to sacrifice their life, there's 20 that won't unless they're forced. And even if they're forced, they try their best to get out of it. When I was 18, I did my best to get in the military because I came from a military family. And every recruiter turned me down because I had juvenile diabetes. They said I am not special enough to get insulin deployed to wherever I need to go if I was going to be a ground pounder. Right, Brandon. Right. Dave. Oh shit, Dave. Oh, that's great. That's golden. Yeah. Yeah, Beth. Yeah. Well, doesn't the Ukraine have oil also? I thought the Ukraine had both oil and uranium. I thought that's why Russia was invading them, is for not only the uranium, but for the oil also they had, the unrefined oil. Yeah, yeah, the multiple ones. Yeah, potatoes, potatoes, potatoes. Mm, potatoes sound good right now. That sounds really good. Yeah, spuds, spuds and gravy. But that's the one thing. That's the one thing people don't understand about prepping either. Potatoes. Potatoes is life saving and easy to grow, and doesn't need that much space to grow. That's why I try to get people to self sustain themselves with potatoes. Dangly love spuds. Oh yeah. Isn't that how it's always been? Everybody trying to rebuild the old SSR, USSR. Well, yeah. I mean, but why drill in your own home when you can take over another country and use their resources until they're dried out? that sounds so good, David. Oh, potato salad. Mm. I'm starting to get to the point of eating, but thinking about food. Yes, sir. It does, brother. It does. Yeah, I'm being careful, big brother. Damn it. Damnation. My earbud lost its power, everybody. Yep. Yep. Yes, sir, Brandon. But nobody's seeing it because we don't want to relive our past. Remember, we're we don't want America to relive the past. Yeah, it works. What you need to do, Keno, is you put a fourth of the bucket with dirt, put the sprouting spuds into it, let it grow 3 inches, then put the next layer of dirt in it. Because every layer that it grows up into creates 5 to 10 potatoes. What you want to do with the 5 gallon buckets is grow like gold potatoes, red potatoes, stuff like that, the smaller ones. You don't want to you don't want to put baking potatoes or Idaho potatoes or anything into a 5 gallon bucket because you're not going to get the same outcome of it. But every 3 inches that the plant grows, add a layer of dirt. Same thing until it gets to the top. Then you let it sprout and bush, and then take the remaining ones at the bottom and leave them in and redo the same process over and over again. And you will continuously have an outcome of potatoes from it without having to spud and grow potatoes. I hope that helps. I hope that helps a lot, brother. But it works. The bucket, that's good for small enclosed cases, like small enclosed areas and stuff like that. Yep. It's called a harvesting board. You just pop it open, pull them out. Yeah. Yes, sir. That's what I'm trying to do, brother. I'm just trying to help us. I'm trying to help us all. From one regular person to another. This is what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to help each other in this community. Teach what we know and learn what we don't know. See, Beth does it different than I do. I don't even do the harvest door anymore, Beth. I just put them in, then I pull them out into the very last few. Then I let those 4 or 5 potatoes naturally grow and spud and make a root system. And I continue from that. Hey Connor, how you doing, brother? Right, David. It's all about that. And that's a great size to let in enough natural light in. Correct, Dave. Yeah. All right, family. I'm gonna call this in the next 6 minutes. I need to go and eat and deal with whatever is messing with the lights and everything at this museum. Because I'm sick and tired of these lights flickering on and off. I hate it. How you doing? I've done the UV lights. Can the UV lights help a lot? Um, but with potatoes, you need more of a natural light source. Um, the UV lights will help at night, um, but either way, um, but like with the UV lights, you have to reflect. You have to use mylar bags to reflect off to get the most productive of a light source for potatoes. It all works. You just you don't get as much of a production out with the UV lights as say you would with recreational plants. You know what I mean? Um, but the UV light also gives warmth and heat to a plant, unlike natural light does. Especially if you have it in a back room or something like that, where it does seem to get colder. But the thing with the UV lights is, yeah, the foil on, yeah. All right, family. I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to get my food. Thank you all for staying and interacting and listening, and also sharing your experiences and everything also. That's how these communities grow. That's how we learn. And I want to thank you all. Yes, sir, brother. That is what I am doing. Um, but I love y'all. And like I said, always go to your secondhand shops. Do not knock them off. And they help with a lot of us that have limited amount of money to buy. So always, always, always find a good deal anywhere and everywhere. I love y'all. Thank you, Kenna. Thank you, brother. Y'all have a great one. Love y'all. Good night.